Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today I would like to talk about the hijab. One thing I was really curious about when I first came to Islam is the concept of the hijab. I wanted to find out if it's just a cultural thing or if it's actually an Islamic teaching. Because one thing I realized is that there are different variations of the hijab where Muslim women would choose to wear a veil, some would choose to wear a long hijab, others a short one, and some would even choose to cover their face. So I wanted to understand why these variations and different interpretations of the hijab exist amongst Muslim women. Because for me, I actually prefer to check about it instead of just following a trend. And that's when I decided to research about the hijab. One thing I found out about the hijab is that it's actually not the physical clothing that we wear today. It's actually a barrier. What we call the hijab today is actually referred to in the Quran as the humur, which is the plural word for the himar. And the himar is a head covering or a scarf. You see, during the time of the Prophet, before this verse was revealed, most of the women had their hair covered actually, but they would cover their hair with a veil and they would tuck it behind their ear and they would pull it backwards behind them. And some might even use it to wrap around their hair. And they would leave their bosom exposed and maybe wear a jewelry. So when this Quran verse was revealed, Quran chapter 24 verse 31, Allah commanded that the believing women should draw their veil over their bosom and not to reveal their adornments. Another verse in the Quran that talks about the hijab is Quran chapter 33 verse 59, where Allah commanded Prophet Muhammad and he said, "O Prophet, tell your wives, your daughters, and the believing women to draw their outer garments over themselves. That is more suitable so that they may be recognized and not harmed." So when I saw this verse, I decided to check about the requirements of the hijab. And that's when I discovered that the minimum requirements of the hijab is that women should cover their hair with a large scarf or a veil that covers the upper part of the body. That they should wear loose clothing. Their clothing should not be tight. It should not be transparent. It should be decent and dignified. But some women now decide to extend their hijab. And that's why we see these variations in hijab, where you would see some women wearing socks and gloves. Some would even cover their face. Some would even cover their eyes. So you will now see these variations in the hijab because that is what the women have chosen to wear. It's important for me to state that in Islam, it is very wrong to force anyone to remove their hijab. And it's also wrong to force someone to put on the hijab in Islam. So that's something that I feel is important to state. So why is the hijab even important in today's society? The only way we can appreciate the value of something is by looking at societies where it does not exist. Today, we can see how indecent dressing has been normalized and how immorality has been promoted, where you see women feeling pressurized to meet up to the beauty standards that have been set by society. And the funniest thing is some women would even go as far as risking their lives undergoing surgery just to fit to the body standards that have been set by society. But with hijab, we don't need all these things. We can actually see the impact that it has on society and the family structures today, where we see high divorce rates, high rape cases that are happening because we as women, we don't understand the impact that we have on men. Because with this indecent dressing and immorality that has been promoted and normalized, it breaks down a lot of families and the community at large. And we can see that with the hijab, it protects us as women from all of this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.